Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting, Thursday, June 6th of the Sacramento Metropolitan Television Commission. Madam Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Okay, Turner.
Present.
Detrick. Here. Walter.
Here.
McCarty. Moran.
Here.
Natoli.
Here.
Schmidt. Chenier. Coronado.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
And Chong.
Here.
And ex officio Donald Terry. We have a quorum, sir.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Warren, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Sure. Please stand. Let's face the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
First time I've done that as an elected official.
Congratulations.
I feel very honored.
You can make him flag monitor. You can do it every time we meet. So how's that?
Be careful what you wish for, though.
Well, I didn't wish for it. I just said it was the first time.
Okay, our next item, please.
Our first item is a closed session with our legal counsel relating to existing litigation, and we will adjourn to a closed session.
Well, I thought
We're going
we would go forward and do the action items, and then we can break for closed session to make sure that we have a quorum for the budget and all
okay.
the action
All
items.
right.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, thank you. So next item then?
Item number 2 is the approval of resolution number 2013-005, adopting the fiscal year 2013-14 proposed general fund budget, and the adoption of resolution number 2013-006, adopting the fiscal year proposed PIC fee fund budget to include all the exhibits and attachments presented in the staff report.
Okay. Excuse me. Good afternoon. Bob Davison, Executive Director. I'm here to present the budget, and I'll try to be as brief as possible, hitting the highlights of the budget, and certainly I or staff or others in the audience can answer any questions that your board may have. I believe that this year's budget is about as close to a status quo budget that we have had in the past several years, so the budget is very similar to last year's budget. Again, the goals of this budget were to maintain the effort to carry out the purposes of the commission, but also, to the extent possible, look after the general fund revenue distributions to the member agencies and have those be as high as possible. I will be talking about two budgets. We have 94A, which is the general fund budget, and 94B, which is the public education and government channel facilities fee budget. I will call that the PEG fee budget for short for now on in this presentation. So I'll talk about the general fund budget first. The general fund budget proposes $13,048,234 in expenditures, funded mainly by franchise fees of projected to be $12.5 million, and then also carryover funds from past years, as well as interest and other minor miscellaneous revenues. Because the staff report goes through this budget in components, I'm going to briefly touch on each of the components as identified in the staff report. So component 1 is administration and regulation. There are no significant changes in positions, salaries, or benefits for this budget. No pay increases are being proposed. We did at a previous meeting talk about a salary and benefit survey and class specification survey, and that is certainly going on, but that's not going to have anything to do with this budget that you're hearing today. Like I said, this is pretty much status quo. One new item in component 1, which is administration and regulation, is the CalPERS, California Employees Retirement Benefit Trust Plan. If you recall at our last meeting, we were directed to basically do what we need to do to join that trust so that we can pre-fund other than post-employment benefits. There's a later action item on today's agenda that will authorize us joining that trust, and you should know that this year's budget includes $58,200 to fund that trust for this year. I do want to point out that I want to acknowledge that Karen, preparing this budget, did a lot of hard work, and she is very understaffed right now. We had a resignation of our office assistant, and we actually previously had an unfilled position that we were working on filling. So I just want to acknowledge that she's done a lot of hard work under a lot of circumstances. Fortunately, this week she did bring in a temporary clerical person to help with commission business, and she's going to be going through the process of hiring the office assistant. But I certainly did want to point out that the commission is a little bit understaffed right now. Position-wise, we're okay, but we have several positions we have to fill, including Donna Wellborn's position, which we are in the process of filling as well, and we will be having interviews for that position this coming month. Component 2 of the general fund budget is closed captioning. Again, we're proposing $160,000. The amounts vary, and we put the stats of the meetings that we caption. In 2012, I think we had 322 meetings with 599 hours billed. Interesting about this is that it's almost the same amount of meetings from the previous year, yet the hours were way down. So either a lot of the member agencies and other entities are having shorter meetings, or it's just an aberration. We'll continue to watch that, but we don't want to have this budget so low that if extra meetings are called or people are having longer meetings, that we run out of closed captioning budget. So we are still recommending the $160,000 to be budgeted for closed captioning. The next component is the Metro Cable component. And of course, Metro Cable continues to cablecast meetings for the 22 different entities at 12 different sites. And I just told you the hours and the number of meetings that were captioned. There's a few other meetings that aren't captioned, but for the most part, those are the meeting hours. There's just a few hours beyond those that are not captioned. Metro Cable will continue to cablecast the meetings. They will continue to work with member agencies on technical issues. They will continue to coordinate PEG projects for Metro Cable and member agencies. And we'll be talking a little bit about the PEG fee budget later on. I do want to point out we had recent meetings with every member agencies, and part of the feedback we got back is that they were very happy with the services that Metro Cable was providing, and even pointed out that the technical staff, has been very helpful to most of the member agencies. So I certainly want to thank Kristen Riggs, Bill Piper, and Joe Condry for the good work that they're doing, and it was nice to hear that feedback. Again, Donna Wellborn's the production director position is unfilled. Kristen Riggs is the interim production director right now, and she's been doing a great job carrying out that role. We've been able to use our production assistant temporary staff to kind of fill in the gaps and do some of the things that Kristen would have normally been doing, since she is doing the other job. Okay. With that, I'll move on to component 4, which is community programming. The budget recommends extending the agreements for performance and funding for the channel licensees for another year. Note that RCTV doesn't have a funding agreement because the commission does not provide funding for the Religious Coalition for Television. The base that's proposed remains the same with no COLA. I do want to point out that the Sacramento Education Cable Consortium did request an increase in their base, but it was also a reduction in the base that's in the PEG fee budget, and that's just based on their operation needs versus their equipment needs, and it was a relatively minor amount. And actually, given that the PEG fee budget is actually really tight this year, which we'll be talking about in a few minutes, and given that, I certainly don't have any problem with moving some of their base back to the general fund. With that covers community programming. Excuse me. Component 5, which a lot of people may be interested in, is revenue distributions. Just want to point out that franchise fees collected were $12.7 million. We budgeted for $12 million, so it's nice to see that we were $700,000 over the budget. That's been closer to what we've hit than in past years. In past years, we've been more conservative and had a bigger amount. But anyway, so we will be distributing the budgeted distribution to member agencies plus the $700,000. And so basically, member agencies will be seeing a 7% increase in their revenue distribution from the Cable Commission this year. Also want to point out that franchise fees, revenue distributions in the budget for next year, we're budgeting 10.2, I mean, not franchise fees, but the revenue distribution that is budgeted for next year is just over $10.2 million. And that's based upon proposed estimated $12.5 million of franchise fee revenues. So that is the general fund budget. There's obviously a lot of details in here, and I can certainly answer any questions. And I'd be happy to do that or go right into the PEG fee budget based on the chair's wishes.
Are there any questions from any of the commissioners? Okay, why don't you move into the next budget? Okay.
Okay. So the proposed PEG fee budget this year is based on an expected $2.5 million of PEG fee revenues that we'll be receiving from cable and video companies. But we're budgeting expenditures of $4.5 million. The reason we're budgeting that much is because we have a lot of carryover funds. Mostly, there's the County Board Chambers project, which we'll talk a little bit about in a second. Some money preserved for BestNet and some other projects that are underway but not constructed yet. So that leads to a high carryover. So, but I do want to point out that those are the main funding sources for this year's budget. I do want to give you a little bit of update on the PEG projects that were funded in last year's budgets. Sacramento City, the historic city chambers work has been completed. The main chambers of equipment was received and put in place. And there's additional control room work to be done next year, but basically most of the work has been done so that the historic chambers is available for the city of Sacramento and as well as other entities to use. With the Community Corrections Partnership coming online, we actually at one time were considering using the historic chambers for running those meetings, but of course those meetings are now being filmed from the county board chambers. Citrus Heights postponed their request because there's going to be a temporary relocation of their chambers and then a remodeling of their council chambers. And so they have some requests in this year's budget related to that, and they wanted to preserve the money that they had for some other things to go in the requests that they have updated for this year. Elk Grove finished a control room update. Folsom is very soon will finish a control room update. Galt also has finished a control room update, and there's some chambers work and some audio that may be started by the end of this year or early next year. Rancho Cordova installed some new TV cameras, some other equipment related to running their meetings, and also consolidated their equipment in their control room, which was, we had some feedback that the new equipment that was installed at Rancho Cordova made it a very tight fit for their control room. And so our staff, along with Rancho Cordova technical staff, has worked out a solution that will provide them more room. So they're pretty happy about that. And the County Board Chambers project, as we talked about at the board last year, we have new cameras now. So those cameras were installed, and that was a significant part of that project. So now, actually, from camera to television, you have a pretty good picture quality. I'm not sure if any of you have turned it on and noticed the difference.
You look pretty good, Bob. I'm looking at you right now. That looks pretty good. Like your tie.
Oh. I purposely wore this bright blue tie to make that point. And then with Metro Cable, A van upgrade project was completed. Current upgrades to the control room were completed, and there was some work on a server that's almost complete, but we're waiting for one piece of equipment to be swapped out. So that's what's been done. That's what was done last year. I want to refer you to Exhibit 3 of the budget staff report, and that shows you what's proposed to be funded by the PEG fee fund for this year. And Exhibit 3 is towards the end of the budget staff report, behind the general fund and the PEG fund budget. So if you go to page 8 of the budget staff report, and then go approximately 4 pages behind that, you'll see, I'm sorry, not 4 pages, 3 pages, no, it is 4 pages. Anyway, you'll come to Exhibit 3, which outlines the PEG request for this year. And I'm not going to go through all of these individually. Most of these are equipment and chambers chambers needed for the various member agencies. I do want to point out that the most significant item is the county board chambers. They've revised their estimate, so they're certainly these funds have rolled over from previous years, but their new estimate is about $1,249,000. And I want to point out that we do have county staff here in the audience that can answer questions about this project, if your board has any questions about that. And with that, the channel licensees PEG requests are outlined as well. Again, I won't go through them all individually, but I actually do want to point out that with all the requests that we got this year, we had a lot of funding, but the budget was very tight. I want to express appreciation to Liz Rhodes, Ron Cooper, and David Lowe for being generous in working with me and bringing the request down a little bit so that everything would fit in under the amount of the budget that we had, and I do appreciate that. I also do want to point out one correction I'd like to make. In talking to Liz Rhodes, we had a miscommunication, and in talking about holding off on some of their SIVA labs into the next year, which brought their number down a little bit, we made a mistake to the tune of $15,000, and I would like to propose that when you take action, if you take action today approving the budget, that you acknowledge that $15,000 shown in contingency be allocated to the SECC SIVA lab project. And then that would take care of that issue that Liz and I were talking about this week. With that, that's the general fund and the PEG fee fund budget for this year. I again want to express appreciation to the board, staff, council, and Karen mainly did a lot of work in the last couple of weeks on the budget. Everybody was working really hard to deliver this budget. And again, just to acknowledge the channel licensees for helping out so that we can bring the PEG fee budget under budget. And with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Excuse me, Bob, did you want to mention the revision to attachment 10 of the positions?
Oh, yes, thank you. Attachment 10 is a list of positions, and we left out one position. So there, I'd like to verbally add into the record that, Karen, can you read the exact position?
It's our production assistant 3, who's been in place since fiscal year 12-13. It was just an oversight on staff's part.
Yeah, it's not a new position.
Right.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out, Karen.
So you're asking that that position be added to?
No, that was just left out of the proposed positions for 13-14. It was an oversight on staff's part. It's not a new position. It's been in place.
Thank you. Any questions from any of the commissioners? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve resolution number.
Do you have any speakers?
Oh, sorry. I do have some speaker sheets here. Let me see if any of them are for this particular item.
That would be for item number 2.
Number 7, number 12, number 12. No speaker sheets for this particular item. Okay.
I'll move staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
That's with the $15,000 adjustment and the additional person added to item 10.
Correct. That's
Thank you.
And the staff, the $15,000, and also the staff member production assistant, we need to acknowledge that at all?
Steve Detrick just
both?
mentioned
Okay,
that, so
I'll make sure.
in his motion.
Okay. So I have a motion by Commissioner Dietrich and a second by, what's your,
Other way around. His motion, my second.
Motion by
see
Alan.
what happens when my head's down, I don't get to see who did what. Okay. So we know who did what. Okay. With that, we'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Good job on the budget, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, next item, please.
Next item is item number 3, the adoption of 2 resolutions and approval of all pertinent documents that which are necessary in order for the commission to participate in CalPERS CERT program to fund other post-employment benefits.
Okay, thank you. And I just did mention this a little bit in the budget presentation, and we certainly talked about this in depth when we got direction to go ahead and join this trust. This is basically the documentation that CalPERS requires in order for us to be members of this trust. So in order to join the trust, it's necessary to adopt the resolution approving the agreement with CalPERS to provide the CERT trust services, adopt a resolution delegating authority to request disbursements to the executive director and the commission ASO, approve the CalPERS agreement and election of this commission to pre-fund the other post-employment benefits through CalPERS, and approve the certification of the OPED funding policy and GASB 4345 reporting compliance, and reaffirm the initial funding in the amount of $58,200 to establish the trust, which you also just reaffirmed in the budget. With that, if you have any questions, I'll
Any questions from any of the commissioners?
The item.
Okay, it's been moved. I'll call for a motion. Is there a second to that? First?
We got the speakers.
Oh, no speaker sheets on this item. Okay. I'm checking the speaker sheets first, so no speaker sheets on this item.
I'm
Okay, so
sorry, I moved the first.
We have a motion
And I'll
Moved it.
Okay,
and a second.
thank you.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 4 is just to receive and file the review of franchise and PEG fees remitted by AT&T to the commission for calendar years 2009 and 2010.
Good afternoon again. Basically, we're asking you to receive and file this audit. The audit was prepared by Alan Matre, the county auditor, who does the auditor services for the commission. And basically, this is an audit that comes up clean. There were no significant findings. AT&T is reporting the correct revenues and therefore paying the correct general franchise fees and PEG fees to the commission. And with that, I recommend that you receive and file the audit.
Any questions on that at all? Okay, so this is really just a announcement that the board will receive and file a report of the review of the franchise and PEG fees. So there's no further action needed to be taken at this point. Okay.
Right.
So next item, please.
We move on to item number 5, which is to approve resolution number 2013-013, authorizing the issuance of a subpoena related to an audit of AT&T's franchise and PEG fees for the following 2 calendar years.
And one of the items that slowed us up in getting the audit done is AT&T requires a subpoena in order for our auditor to come in and review their materials. So rather than wait for them to tell us that that's going to be the case, we're proactively asking you to authorize a subpoena so that the process will go a little bit smoother next time, and then we won't have a waiting period having them tell us no, coming back to your board and get a subpoena, and then go in and get the audit done. So the next AT&T audit should be done in a more timely fashion by approving the subpoena early.
I did have some questions. I've already had a chance to talk to Bob privately about some of my concerns about this, and they've been answered satisfactorily, so thank you for that. Any other questions by any of the board members?
Bob,
Yes.
just to clarify, or refresh my memory, the AT&T wants the subpoena because they have a concern that if they voluntarily give up the information, they're giving up confidential customer information. Is that?
That's correct.
Okay.
kind of protects them as well, I'm assuming, right? Okay. Any other questions?
I'll move resolution 2013-013.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion's passed. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 6 is to receive and file the County of Sacramento's calendar year 2013 investment policy for the pool investment fund.
And basically, we recommend that you take this action because the county requires that we take such an action if we want to be part of their pooled investment fund. And since that's where our funds are invested, that we certainly recommend that you do that.
Okay. Any comments or questions on behalf of the commissioners? Go again, this is a, no action is actually required by the board. We're receiving and filing, so thank you very much for that. Now, what we're going to do now is actually, rather than go to the next item, we're going to go ahead and break for our closed executive session, and we'll go back here to the board room, and then we'll come back and deal with the other matters before the
Right. And this
commission.
should not take a long time.
Okay, so we'll adjourn for about 10 minutes or so. Thank you. The commission and ask the council for any reportable actions.
Okay, there was no reportable action.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item, please.
Next item is item number 7, the adoption of resolution number 2013-012, honoring Mr. Ron Cooper upon the occasion of his retirement.
Okay, Bob Davison again. I certainly have known Ron Cooper ever since I've been executive director of this organization in, I think, 2006. And it's been a pleasure to know Ron. He is a tenacious person that leads an organization that is, knows what he wants, knows how to look through the issues, knows how to work with people. I've certainly, since 2006, have worked with Ron directly on many, many issues, including the DIVCA fight at the legislation and trying to basically make DIVCA as PEG-friendly as possible, working through bringing his request, the request for Game of the Week and Hometown TV and the things that he's been able to do for Access Sacramento. Ron has been a pleasure to work with. He will be missed. And I would probably venture to guess that he has been to more Cable Commission meetings than anyone else in this room, unless Supervisor Natoli's been to more, but I
think Ron's got it, because I've missed a few along the way, so Ron holds the title, I'm sure of that, Bob.
With that, I recommend that you approve today's resolution, and I'm not sure if you want to read the resolution and present it to Mr. Cooper.
Karen?
Actually, staff didn't have time to put that into display, so.
Okay, well, how about I'll just then I'll just read through the key points of the resolution,
Okay.
and then we'll present Mr. Cooper with the resolution after Chair Turner signs it.
Okay.
We can have enough money for a frame, though, right? We'll put it in a frame?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I will have to have an action amending the budget.
Okay. Well, I know. We need to get
Is it gold-plated as well?
Take it out of Access Sacramento.
Wait, Ron, hey, Ron.
But I will say we take that out of Access Sacramento's share.
I may have more speaker sheets on that one.
So I'll read through the resolution really quickly.
Thank you.
Whereas Ron Cooper was here when local public TV programming was launched in 1987. Whereas Ron Cooper, after more than 20 years as executive director of Access Sacramento, has announced his retirement in August. Whereas during his tenure, Access Sacramento added web streaming capabilities for video and radio. Whereas in 2000, Ron Cooper helped launch a place called Sacramento, a film festival which helped amateurs produce and showcase films about the city. Whereas Ron Cooper has worked cooperatively with the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission, implementing programs cablecast on public access channels on local cable systems. Whereas Ron Cooper has been instrumental in bringing foreign language programming to Access Sacramento to serve the many different national and ethnic groups that have made their homes in Sacramento. Whereas Ron Cooper has been an active member of the Alliance for Community Media, including servicing on its board in numerous capacities, promoting access programming and bringing new ideas to the Sacramento PEG cable providers. And whereas Ron Cooper helped launch Game of the Week, which cablecasts local high school sports, and Hometown TV, which documents and shares the best of Sacramento County events with the 265,000 cable TV viewing households on Access Sacramento. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Commission is grateful for Ron's more than 20 years of dedicated service as Executive Director of Access Sacramento, and does hereby recognize and honor Ron Cooper on the occasion of his retirement and wishes him well in this life transition.
Thank you. And before we actually approve the vote on the resolution, Ron, would you like to say a few words, because you do have a speaker sheet here, and it'd probably be appropriate to have you come up and say a few words first, if you don't mind?
And I hope he's not speaking against the item.
No, but I think it's really clever that I have to keep coming back to each of these meetings to get the frame. So it's built in
Well,
for years.
it's better
to
than you
come.
being framed.
There you go. So the marathon is now up to Supervisor Natoli and Liz Rhodes to fight it out. But it's been an honor to be involved with public education, government access here in Sacramento County all these years. And just to be very brief, I really appreciate this honor, and I appreciate the opportunity to work together with all of you and your constituents over the years. A little bit later, we'll introduce my successor, and it's been a great honor to work with the board for all these years and see the wonderful leadership that's come out of our activities in the community and the many volunteers. And so just a couple of thoughts. One is with this wonderful DIVCA funding, and you've heard me say this before, but I really would ask you one favor in my leaving, and that is to really consider what an amazing infrastructure is now available throughout Sacramento County. And that we've really come to the point, I think, where some regular planning sessions about how the infrastructure deployed with BestNet, how the wonderful resources, now high definition in all of your city council chambers and the supervisor's chambers, the deployment of the green studios, now beginning with the libraries and the nonprofit resource center and Asian resources, but the kind of new technology that's available to build affordable studios in cooperative community organizations like the libraries, for example, gives us some great opportunities to plan together and to create new ways of voice for government, education, and your constituents in the community. So I look forward to that, and also the tremendous opportunity for high definition, and that will take some real challenges, I know, in the sense of you really have no leverage to quote, force the cable companies to provide HD channels for these community offerings. But all of your technology is HD capable. So you're as good as that tie looks. It's
look better in
it's not even 1/3 the
3D.
quality that it could look in terms of the HD capability. So again, thank you very much for this honor.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron. And before you leave, let's, just for a second, please. Commissioner McCarty?
Thanks, Chair. We need a budget to fix these money. Anyway, thanks. You know, certainly I've been on this about body and followed the work of Ron on Access Sacramento, but I also note that Access Sacramento is my neighbor, frankly, right down the street from my house, but also, of course, in the heart of District 6. So wanted to acknowledge your work. I know you announced your retirement almost a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I think you like to have parties and these.
Yes, that was the whole intent, yes.
But anyway, you know, is the person that was announced to replace you?
Yes.
Are they here today?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to announce that individual
Yes.
in a few moments. Well,
Right.
you know, I know the show goes on. You're in show business, and the work is, you know, critically important to this community. And we've had so many, upgrades and improvements with technology and our smartphones and our, all tablets and so forth. But truly, there is a big divide as far as technology and what communities have them. And I have essentially a district that's almost night and day as far as economics and social economic conditions in their neighborhoods, and some areas are much more engaged than others. And so I know that one of the big efforts of this is really appreciated is making sure that individuals don't get totally left behind, and we engage communities, and we cover these things too. So whether they're cultural events or ethnic events that bring out the pride of Sacramento, I just want to acknowledge the appreciation for the work that Access Sacramento does, and that you have been doing for 2 decades. And I know that with the leadership, that the good work will continue. So enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, Council.
Commissioner Natoli?
Yeah, Ron, I would just briefly add certainly my appreciation to you for your leadership, certainly in public access programming, and you've always been a gentleman and a scholar as it relates to certainly not only for Access Sacramento, but I think for public programming, and really, I think, giving a true flavor of the diversity and the richness of our community and all that goes on in every day, and have been able to certainly via the television and radio to some degree, be able to, I think, help communicate that to a broad audience, and I think it's really important because it helps us to better understand ourselves and to better appreciate those things that are good and great and certainly unique about our community and its people. And so, I appreciate all your efforts. And again, I think certainly Bob going through the resolution detailed some of the highlights, but I know you've put a tremendous amount of time. Certainly you've had a support of your board and your colleagues in public programming, and I think have helped this commission in its efforts to figure our way out through certainly some legislative challenges, but also obviously funding and financing and infrastructure. And for all that, I say thank you, and it's been certainly a pleasure to work with you, and I know you'll continue to be a part of the fabric of this community, and I too wish you well, along with my colleagues, in your retirement. So thank you.
Commissioner Dietrich?
Ron, every once in a while you have an opportunity to work with someone who, from the start of their career to their finish, continues to have a passion. And that's one thing in the last 4 years that I've worked with you, to see the passion that you've maintained for your profession, and how much you want to bring the communication. And the resolution obviously does not cover 20 years of what you did, but it covers the highlights. And I just personally thank you for what you've done for this region, and as well as the interaction that you've had, always so positive, and just a pleasure to deal with. And wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
I think in begin, we do have a resolution that we're going to give to you, so that means you have to come back one more time.
That's right.
But again, just to echo the comments that have been made, I don't know you as well as the other commissioners here do, but I do know your work. It speaks volumes of you and what you've done, and I know there's some big shoes to fill, and that's probably why it took a year and a half for him to announce his retirement, then to find replacement.
All part of the plan.
All part of the plan. But thank you for everything that you've done, and for being here, and hopefully we'll get to see you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Okay. I'd also like to now ask for a motion to adopt resolution number 2013-012, honoring Ron Cooper upon the occasion of his retirement.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, has been approved. Thank you. It passes. Next item, please.
Next item is item number 8, to receive and file the list of the Commission's fixed assets declared to be surplus property in calendar year 2012.
And basically, this item speaks for itself. This is a list of fixed assets that we're declaring for surplus, consistent with previous audit findings and discussions. We do this annually now. And with that, I recommend that you receive and file the attached list of fixed assets declared for surplus.
All right, well, again, the board will receive and file the list of fixed assets declared to be surplus property. No other items, action is needed. Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Item number 9 is to elect the Commission's chair and vice chair for fiscal year 2013-14.
Okay, I think most of you know it's that time of the year again for the election of our new chair and vice chair. I'd like to ask for a motion to elect the commission chair for fiscal year 2013-2014. Do I have a motion for someone to take that esteemed spot?
I move that we nominate Steve Detrick for chair of the commission.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Other motions? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
You are the one.
Condolences.
Okay, I also need to ask for a motion to elect the commission vice chair for fiscal year 2013-2014.
Is there any rotation here? I mean,
There's I think the rotation goes to, if I'm not mistaken.
There used to be a rotation, and we've provided you the list of the previous chairs. It used to go county, city, smaller city, I believe, in that rotation. But really, the past several years, we've diverted from that, and it's really been just the choice of the commission. So we've provided you the past here, but there's no formula currently in place now that would necessarily point to anybody on the board as the likely candidate.
So who's not here that we could?
McCarty is not here.
Mr. Walter said he would
I'll do it.
be happy.
All right,
with this,
let's
so.
do that.
Okay, so we have a nomination, a motion to approve Mr. Walters. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Again, a call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing none. You are the new vice chair, sir. Thank you.
All right. And Mel, thank you for your service to the board over the past
You're
year
welcome.
or so.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure, honestly, and I've learned quite a bit. And thank you, staff, for all of the cliff notes and all the other help that you've provided for me as well. Okay, next item, please.
Likewise, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Item number 9 is to receive verbal reports on commission matters. Bob?
Just give me a second. And I believe I've covered all the items I wanted to cover here in the budget and elsewhere, other than future commission board meetings. I believe that we will have a final budget meeting that will either be in September or October. And unless, and I don't believe anything from the closed session will require any other meeting, I would recommend that we continue to cancel at the chair's concurrence, but I believe it is likely that there will not, well, if anybody wants to come here on July 4th, I'll be happy to, because that's when the meeting is scheduled. That the first Thursday in July happens to be on the 4th. So if you guys want to meet on the 4th, I'm fine with it. But so I would say at the chair's concurrence, the July 4th meeting would be canceled. And then I'll leave August, September, October up to the chair. It's likely that it'll be September or October with a final budget and whatever other items we have at that time.
Sounds like I'm seeing concurrence on that, so we will not have a July meeting, and we'll go as needed regarding August, September, October. Okay.
Great.
Thank you for your report. Any other comments or questions, please?
Just curious, though, didn't our bylaws, I mean, if you hit on a national holiday, it would seem to me that, you know, if you needed to meet, you would not meet on that day anyway. That's not a normal
We
business.
would just, if we needed to meet, we would just schedule a meeting for
I
a
know,
different
but
day.
I can't reflect that, though. Normal business day is not July 4th, and so I
Right.
just think that your calendar ought not to reflect that as even being a potential date. It ought to be an alternative date. And I know we're not going to meet. My point is that if it hits on December 25th or July 4th or January 1st or something like that, those are not normal business
Right.
days, and your calendar ought not to reflect, your adopted calendar shouldn't reflect that as a regular meeting date, even though it may be the first, whatever day of the first Thursday of any given month. And so I just, for future, just
Yeah, well, in the future, ensure that we don't put on board members' calendars holiday meetings. I'm not sure what got on board members' calendars.
Well, it wasn't. I could safely say it wasn't on mine, but maybe it was on others. But I think from the standpoint of the public that we serve and the businesses that we conduct here, is that we ought to reflect then either an alternate date or say we're not going to meet during if it hits on a holiday, then you, unless a special meeting is called, you just don't show that on your adopted calendar. So.
Correct. Okay. Thanks. That's definitely good advice.
Yeah, thank you. Other comments, questions on the administrative report? Okay, hearing none, thank you for the report. Next item, please.
Item number 10 is to receive verbal reports from state franchisees, and I don't believe there are any present.
Don't have any speaker sheets for any. Does anyone have a desire to speak on behalf of the state licensees? No? Okay. Next item, please.
Item number 11 is to receive verbal reports from our channel licensee representatives.
Okay, and I do have some speaker sheets. I think I have 4. Our first speaker then would be Liz Rhodes, please. Liz?
Good afternoon. I'm Liz Rhodes, Executive Director of the Educational Cable Consortium InvestNet. Just real quickly, wanted just to thank you for your continued support. And if we have time, I've got a short clip that I'd like to show you. In your budget, you approved SIVA Studio Labs, and I would like to show you what comes out of those SIVA Labs. So we got like 2.5 minutes?
How many minutes?
2.5 minutes?
Yes?
Yep.
Yes, please.
Okay, well then,
2.5.
if we can roll that tape, it's
Okay.
up there, or I guess punch the video,
lights down.
do the, whatever it is you do. And this is some clips from our award night that was in May. Wonderful success with over 1,000 teachers and students and VIPs. And if not, well,
I think they just need to cue it up, it sounds like.
and it's been sitting here most of the meeting, and I thought, wow, it's pretty good promotion, huh? Been up there the entire time.
When I was in 7th grade, I came here looking for an elective, and I saw media. I wanted to sign up for that media, so I go ask the person, they're like, no, it's only for 8th graders. So right there and then I made my promise to myself, 8th grade, boom, in media.
Technology is everywhere, it's booming, so videos are going to be out there, and if people see those videos, they can get ideas and be inspired.
Well, basically, we were just having an idea, and I don't know, it was something like December, and Cameron says he comes up with this idea, and blammo!
What led you to acting?
Hey there, Wolfpack Sports fans out there.
Good answer.
All fears have solutions. Remember, if we can face our fears, you can too.
To me, what makes video so powerful is most of the time, I mean, there's exceptions, but most of the time you have time to do it. And if you mess up or if you feel it's not getting to the point enough, you can redo it and you can make your point exact.
Probably the best videos that you can make really come from you and experiences that you have, because nobody can tell it quite like you can.
Video is a kind of powerful tool because it tells people how you feel, kind of. Sometimes if you put a lot of work into it, and it moves people sometimes.
Hi, I'm a big mean 8th grader.
This is how you should not throw a football.
A
picture may be worth 1,000 words, but if it's animated, it's worth even more. If that makes any sense, yeah?
Bacon Middle School where they're holding a press conference.
Who are you? I am your conscience.
You do not know this, but I've been tracking you for months, using what's called a digital footprint.
Have you gone on expeditions inside the White House to look for this ghost? Well, the acting part was a little bit hard.
Why?
Because I kept forgetting what I was going to say, and that video took a few days to make, because we made a lot of duds.
Don't cut your hair or your shirt with the scissors.
Think about like what we're doing here. It's like we get to do what we want. We get to show who we are through video.
Entries from 90 different schools and thousands of students, and you provide them the opportunity to express themselves. It's a huge, gigantic impact, and how fortunate we are, as Ron Cooper said, to be able in our community to do this, and for these students to have their work shown on cable where they can go home, turn it on, have their friends, their families, actually embrace their visions and what they have done. So thank you very, very much.
And thank you, Liz. Thanks for sharing the video with us as well. I'm glad we did get a chance to see it. Okay, our next speaker is Joanne Fuller. And Joanne, you'll be followed by Gary Martin.
Hi, I'm Joanne Fuller. I chair the Access Board of Directors, and I'm very pleased to announce that let me start over again. I'm not pleased to announce that Ron is retiring. Ron has been such a visionary for our community and such a wonderful person to work with on the board. He's really been instrumental and visionary in bringing new technology and very ordinary ways for people to express themselves in Sacramento County. But I am very pleased to announce that we looked hard, and it did take a year and a half to find someone to fill Ron's shoes and to lead this community media center that we have here in Access Sacramento. We had 16 applicants from across the United States, and who we got is Gary Martin, right over from Cosumnes River College, where he has been the chair of, let me just read this to be sure I have it right, the department chair and professor of radio, television, and film at Cosumnes River. So very, very pleased to introduce Gary Martin, our new executive director.
For soon-to-be executive director. I don't even know how to say that correctly yet as I come through that process. But yes, I'm a longtime Sacramento County resident living in Elk Grove since 1989. And for 20 years have been the chair of the radio, TV, and film production program at Cosumnes River College. And so in a long-standing partnership with Access Sacramento, attending many of your meetings prior to in support of Access Sacramento's work, just know that I do have big shoes to fill, and that my belief in this community, its diversity, the good work that Access Sacramento has done through Hometown, Game of the Week, and all of the outreach that it does, that I continue to hope that we can do bigger and better things, and I'm ever so grateful to the board, to Ron for his leadership, and of course to the Commission for its ongoing support of PEG broadcasting in our area. It's difficult from within this community to realize what leaders all of you are, and the true value that this type of support to PEG broadcasting brings to Sacramento, and how it really allows you to be leaders in our nation. for truly supporting the voice, the ability of the people to have their message out in the community. So thank you for all of that. I look forward to joining Access Sacramento in July and to working with all of you over the years to come. So thank you for your support and to your ongoing support of all of the PEG channels, including Access Sacramento. And I believe Ron will have more to say in just a minute. But thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you all and to work with you.
Thank you. And congratulations, by the way, on your appointment.
Thank you very much.
My next speaker is Arla Gibson, and my guess is that you'd like to come back up afterwards. We're finished. Okay. I wasn't sure if you had. Okay. No problem.
He's coming back for that frame next time.
The frame. But please, Arla.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
I'm Arla
Thank you.
Gibson, Director of Development for Capital Public Radio, and I just wanted to say thank you to all of you commissioners for your ongoing support. You've been supporting Capital Public Radio since 1989. That's 24 years of our 34-year service to this community, and we sincerely appreciate it. So on behalf of the board and the staff and all of our listeners, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that you know, the efforts of this commission as well as the staff and what the PEG fees are doing, that it is working, and it's nice to hear from you. That feedback is important for us to know. So thank you so much for all of you coming and telling us what a great job this whole thing is doing for all of you as well. Appreciate that. Okay, next item, please.
Next item is to receive comments from the public.
Members of the audience may comment on any item of interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes or less if a large number of requests are received. No action may be taken on non-agendized items raised under public comment until the matter has been specifically included on the agenda as an action item. If a member of the public wants a response to a specific question, they are encouraged to contact commission, staff, or any of the commission board members. I don't have any speaker sheets, but is there anyone who would like to come up and address the commission? Please.
For the licensing report, so I can use this.
Licensing report. You said you had a speaker sheet for licensing report.
No, I didn't have one from.
I gave it with Arla.
Oh. Okay, well, come on down. It's okay. We have time. Thank you. Was it?
I was doing a good deed and I handed in Arla's, but apparently mine is not there. But David Lowe with KVIE Public Television. I'm the president and general manager. And at the risk of being a broken record, I just wanted to say thank you for the support. We really do appreciate it. What you do in the community, what you do in the nation is pretty amazing, because I don't think you can point to another commission that's structured like this, that supports a public radio station, that supports a public television station, and that has such a strong programs like Access Sacramento and SECC. So thank you very much for the continued support.
Thank you, David. And I do apologize. I did have it here. For some reason it was stuck.
Official.
You're official, sir. Thank you so much. My apologies. Okay, again, I'll close public comment. No more. Next item.
Next item, we adjourn.
Having heard that as my final act, I think as chair, I will adjourn and wish our staff again, thanking Karen specifically for all the work you've done, being shorthanded as you have been. Know that we all appreciate what you've been doing and how much you've had to work. And thank you again. Okay. With that, we're adjourned.
Thanks, Bill. Good job. Good. You're doing a good deed.
We got through it.
Yeah, oh yeah.